In today's video, I'll be making this will be like a special video. Now, this will apparently go towards, what apparently is going on in the UK and whatever, and things that are happening around the world that's linked to the UK in a way. Now, the thing that's basically linked to this is illegal migration, if you get what I mean. Now, illegal migration is apparently to do with countries like India and whatever sneaking over to the UK and whatever. Apparently, I read a post from Facebook. One of them's considered he was thinking about going to the UK, and I was like, well, no, because there was a reason I was actually thinking it, because with the UK, it's getting overcrowded, and a lot are actually also saying the same thing. It's getting out of hand with the UK at the moment, because the more people that sneak in to the UK, the more bad things happen. From what I know, that's why there was an increase with call centers being made by people from like Pakistan and whatever, like India and such. So apparently they've been making these call centers, and I had 3 calls this year, 1 month after the other. Now apparently, So you basically get what I mean. The latest call was from like London. So basically, people are basically getting into this country and and calling these call centers and whatever, and basically to make quick buck when they shouldn't really be allowed access if they have call centers. You know what I mean? They shouldn't really be allowed this at all, because it's classed as against the law, mainly like scamming people, because scamming people in the UK actually is classed as illegal and such, and there's basically more other examples on what people are doing as well. Like, there's also people that take guns to the UK, ones that sneak the guns in when they're not allowed to, because in the UK there is a law with basically against guns in general, because in the UK it's only the police and the military, or special people that work for like police, like the FBI and whatever, are only allowed guns. So people that bring their own guns to the UK, you're not really allowed to have a gun, because, well, it's classed as against the law, because if you have one, you'd get arrested. So that's why it's dangerous, because a lot of things would happen in the UK, kind of like the other day where one person had like a machine gun and they shot a bunch of people and stuff like that. And also another thing I have to bring up is, one point there was 2 people from a shop in Middlesbrough. Not gonna lie, these were actually seemed to be people that came from Pakistan. So the way it looks is, they made a shot, right? They targeted this old guy, and nearly killed him. They basically started hitting him, and such. And these 2 guys got arrested for that, because it's basically illegal doing this shit, because, when I think about it, people like that shouldn't really be allowed. Like, the ones that have come from other countries, mainly, like, ones that have come from Pakistan, mainly. The ones that basically snuck over and whatever, and basically tend to make a job in the UK. No. They shouldn't be allowed the access at all, because they just can't be trusted, because people that basically just want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, for a person like that, they basically would have to require more ID, and whatever, like actual record and whatever, and what they're like and whatever, and stuff like that. And if they're actually a working, normal citizen, they're allowed access. But if they're not, they wouldn't be allowed to work, in the UK. That basically is what should be put onto it, mainly, in the UK, like actual proper people that have actually had jobs in the past, like really good jobs and whatever, and they haven't had an issue working, like their actual record, mainly. But if it's someone new that hasn't actually had a job or whatever, they shouldn't be allowed access to the country at all, because things like this happen, and stuff like that, because, like when people sneak over, they cause a panic between other people from, like, the same country, mainly, and there's always, like, a fight or whatever, between different people and whatever. Also, a number of things that's going on in the UK is the cost of living, the less chance of houses and whatever, basically the houses, basically, let's just say the, less chance of, houses being bought, mainly. What I mean is like, there's too many people, like, too many immigrants taking those houses, so that means the ones that already live in the UK, they're running out of options to, like, get houses, meaning they, running out of space, mainly. So that means the more that move in, the less, we'd have, in the UK, like, the less land we'd have and whatever. It would be really crowded in the UK. So the UK is actually overcrowded right now. That's why Rosicky, or whatever his name is, actually started turning back these people, because they were the type of people that would usually come to the UK, set a call center or something like that, or start killing people and whatever, stuff like that, by sticking in their own guns and stuff like that. So apparently Rosicky is doing right by sending them away. So some of these people that actually tried coming over actually died, by boat, mainly. Some of them got caught in, like, fishing nets and stuff like that and died. So that's why I actually think it's also a bad idea, because when you think about it, we've got sharks around the country somewhere, around the UK somewhere. We have actually got sharks in our oceans. Now, usually, even though we don't have great whites, we do, but there's not that many great whites in our ocean. They're probably somewhere, I reckon, but not that many. I know there's some beaches in the UK that have great white sharks, but yeah, again, I mean, they do change their route, mainly, so that's why I think it's not really a good idea to wholesale migrant in the UK, because there's a lot going on, mainly with travel issues and such, stuff like that and whatever. But if I had to state a country that's big enough for a lot of people, I would basically say, like, for example, I would actually say, maybe America, because America's a big country, and, because I know, in like a long time ago, whatever, I know Europe took over, America, so, you know what I mean? We actually took it over, and that's how it became America, so, I mean, it did originally belong to the Indians, but, well, that's how it goes, mainly. So, again, back to the matter of the illegal immigrations, it's not really a good idea because when you think about it, people will cause war, and stuff like that, and, you know, like, the ones from Pakistan won't like the law, and whatever, and probably go a riot or something like that, you know, stuff like that, which can happen, so, again, I think this is a really bad idea for people to sneak over and whatever. It's not really good, at all, because it can lead to a lot of danger, mainly, because of issues. I just don't get what's in their head. I mean, I can understand you know, like Ukraine, for example. I can understand Ukraine, basically moving over. I mean, it's not that Ukraine's fault that, you know, Russia actually tried to invade them, which caused them to move. I mean, they had no harm because of that. I mean, I can understand Ukraine moving over, but not Pakistan. No. They have no need to move, because their country would be fine. Like, actual fine. They don't need to move over, because if they intend to move anywhere, why not Turkey? You know what I mean? Because from what I know, Pakistan is a hot country, so why not don't they move to Turkey? Turkey's basically a safe area, to live in at the moment. Even though I think you would still allow guns in Turkey, I think, that's what I'm guessing, because it's kind of like, a hot country and whatever, so, I mean, Turkey's really nice, for a country, because it's, it feels big and whatever. You got, like, a lot of, like, attractions and stuff like that, tourist attractions and so on and whatever, and it doesn't seem to be targeted right now, by war. So, it seems pretty fine at the moment, but as for France, though, France is having a big riot at the moment. I think it's to do with, immigrants, I think. That's what I'm guessing. Because there's some sort of riot thing. From what I watched, it looked like some sort of riot and whatever. I think there was fireworks in the mix, I think. I'm not too sure. I think it might have been. So, basically, this is why you have to be absolutely careful of, you know, people coming over to the country, because it can cause more harm than good. You know, it can also affect everyone else, for example. You know, most people, when they see someone that doesn't tone to the language, should actually, you know. So, what I think is, people that would move to the UK, they need to force themselves to speak English, because, you know, they would live in a English country. So it's only right for them to, by law, learn to speak English, to attune to that language, and such. So like, basically, to the illegal, immigrants from, like, Pakistan, don't come out of the UK. It's getting too chalker. I would basically recommend a bigger country like America. America might take you in. That's why the UK are not taking in people anymore, because they can't anymore. It's getting too full. is the reason for this. So yeah, sorry.